Thank you for tuning into the Sisters Talk podcast. I'm your host, Dannii M. And today we have Bucket List Brandy. Give everybody a shout out.
Bucket List Brandy here.
Yes. The name alone just says it all. I mean, when I saw your image, you were strapped to a propeller plane. Is that right?
A biplane.
I don't even know what that is, but okay, a plane. And I mean, that's it. It was just you, the plane, and sky.
It was pretty interesting. That was actually something that I had planned a couple of years ago, but I was like too scared to do it. And so the research was already done, and I was scheduled to go. And then of course, COVID hit. So I had to reschedule. And I was kind of chicken to reschedule the second time, but I went ahead and did it. And it was such an awesome experience. Like,
oh, wow. I love your backdrop. Bucket List Brandy, Instagram.com/Bucket List Brandy. That's awesome. Like, people need to know. They need to know. So I know they're curious to know, like, can you give us like a little summary of who you are? Kind of give us your background, like growing up. What kind of girl were you? Were you always an adventurer?
No. So I grew up here in Houston. Was not into outdoorsy stuff, was not into adventurous stuff as a kid. I was kind of a little tomboyish, I guess. But I love watching Discovery Channel. I love watching Nat Geo, things like that. And you see things that fascinate you, but you don't think that that's within your reach, And so, about 8 years ago, I decided, you know what? I wanted to go skydiving. About 8 years ago. Yeah. No one would go skydiving with me. None of my friends, of course, no family members. And I decided, okay, I'm going by myself. And I went, did my first tandem skydive, and I was scared. I was terrified. I was more than terrified. I was screaming. I was the first one on the plane. So I was the last one to get off the plane. So I had to watch everybody else jump, and it was crazy. But once I landed, I bought my second jump, and since then, it was that good. It was like, the doors.
Okay, I have a lot of questions just with this one experience that you're telling me about. So you mean to tell me you had to watch everybody jump off the plane one by one with their coach, or were they going by themselves? Or
some were solo skydivers, and then some were tandem. So we were the last ones off, me and my tandem instructor on my back, and I was scared. I was screaming.
The entire fall.
No. Once I was out of the plane, it wasn't no time for screaming. It was like, fight or flight. Like, listen, I need to save my life here. But it was like the most amazing experience. And of course, when I landed, I walked right in the office and I bought my second one.
Oh, wow. Woo! You're brave. Bravery is your name. It's Bucket List Brandy.
I don't know if it's brave. I think it's just, I am terrified to do some of the things that I've done, but I don't let the fear stop me,
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, I still have questions about this one jump. So for me, I know it's hard to breathe when there's too much air, hitting me all at once. So did it feel that way when you were skydiving?
Yes. So you free fall for about 60 seconds before the parachute is pulled. I did pull my own parachute for my first jump. They teach you how to do these things, right? So you're not just going up there and they're like, oh, do this, and you have no idea. Right. So, so you free fall for 60 seconds. And during that time, the wind is ferocious. It's like beating you in the face. But once you pull the parachute, it's so quiet. It's so calm, and you're just like, wow, just taking in the sights, and you're like, this is pretty cool.
So what happens if you pull that parachute and it doesn't deploy?
There's a backup parachute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in your case, you had 4 parachutes. You had your.
No, I don't have on anything. So the
Oh,
parachute, yeah. So
oh wow.
when you're tandem, the instructor is actually on your back, and so the parachute is on him.
I don't know why I
Everything
was
is on
thinking you
him.
would have something in front that could just.
No, no.
Oh wow.
Everything is on him, but
So
I can still pull it.
so if his parachute doesn't deploy and his backup doesn't work, then you guys are screwed, basically.
I mean, there's an inherent risk with everything that you do that's kind of adventurous. And so you do sign your life away. I've signed my life away so many times. You do sign your life away when you go do these adventure sports because.
Yeah, because anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is very, very dramatic, interesting, and exciting all at once. I don't even know. That's just crazy. So, what's your actual background? Like, did you go to school for anything, or do you have like a natural hobby outside of your bucket list that you created for yourself?
Let's see, a natural hobby?
Mm-hmm.
This is my natural hobby?
This is your natural hobby. Okay. But I mean, before 8 years ago, like, what were you doing, for fun? Like,
I mean, wow, just the normal things, nothing
look, y'all,
outside of the order.
we do. We're basic.
Nothing outside of the ordinary, no risk taking, just, living life just normally, just normal stuff. Nothing to the extreme like right now. But at this point, it's like, I just want to live life.
Yeah, seriously, because it's so precious and it's so short. Really, people don't realize just how short it is. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure you get a lot of heat from your family because you're out here signing your life away, right? I'm pretty sure. Tell me a little bit about that.
Initially, I would say certain things and my family would be like, what, girl? That's the white people stuff. Like, let me tell you this, let me just be frank. This is what we as in the African American community, that's a phrase that's thrown around a lot. And so I don't think that should be the case. I mean, it's for everybody, right? And so I think if you have the guts, if you have the willpower to do a lot of things that maybe you didn't grow up doing, maybe you wasn't exposed to as a kid, and maybe your friends might look at you weird, like, do it. My family members, my friends, they were just like, at the beginning, just like, girl, like, you're crazy. Like, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? Where'd you get this from? What side of the family? Things like that. But now they're just kind of like, oh, okay.
They're trying to track. Where's the part of your DNA that's such adventure? Because we don't understand that. That is hilarious, but it's so true.
It is. Sometimes I used to not say it as much, but like, it depends on what the situation is. Like when I went wing walking and I got on top of the wing of the plane, like I didn't really tell too many people. I didn't tell my dad. So I told him after, and he's like, find something else to do. Like, what are you doing?
Yes. So, I can understand that. Have you ever done this? Well, how many times have you strapped yourself to an airplane? Like kind of like the one in the. That was your first time?
That was the first time. But It's been plenty of things that I've done, crazy things, as some people would say, that led up to that. That wasn't like my first rodeo.
Give me an example. Like, what was your first starting point? Was it the free falling out of the plane that kind of initiated this?
Yes, that was it. That's what broke the barrier. That was it. And it's like that adrenaline rush, it's like you're looking for that next high. You're like, okay, what's next? But it just opened up like a whole world, and you would see things, and I started searching other people's bucket lists to see what they were doing and getting ideas, and it's like, oh, that's crazy, I wouldn't do that. And then it's like 2 years later, I'm doing that, Right. So yeah, it's like it just keeps building up, and then you're kind of like, okay, well, what's next?
It's interesting that we were talking about your family earlier, because I forgot to shout out your cousin Delano. He's the person who actually sent me an inbox on Instagram, and I was like, who is this woman? I was like, what is she doing? Of course, that's a natural reaction and response. I was like, what? She's strapped on an airplane. Who is this? I was like, do you know her? He's like, yeah, it's my cousin. I'm like, you're kidding. Like, I don't even believe you, And he's like, no, I'm not kidding. He's like, I said, I'm going to reach out to her right now, because I couldn't believe it. I've never seen an African-American woman strapped to an airplane just doing this for fun. Like, this is your thing.
This was, you know what? I found a couple of us on Instagram. The good thing about social media is that it allows you to connect with all these different people that you may not have known that were out there that's interested in what you're doing or that's doing what you're doing. And yeah, so like I said, I had been wanting to do it, but I was like scared. And I talked to this one chick on Instagram and she was like, yo, you should do it. You should definitely do it. And it was great. I would definitely go again. I want to go again. I was scared.
Let me add, I love your transparency, because a lot of people, that's what we're thinking, like, how can you do that? Weren't you scared? And it's the fact that you're conquering that fear. That's exciting. That's really exciting. So something like that, what you did, where you strap yourself down, I'm pretty sure you had to sign a waiver, like, hey, if something happens, we're not held responsible, et cetera, et cetera. How much does an experience like that cost typically?
Well, okay, so that was the introductory course. That introductory course is $650, and it's an all-day course. And you get there, and of course, you sign your life away. You sign your life away, but you know what you get into before you get there, right? Because why would you be there?
Exactly.
And so everything is thoroughly explained, and it's a very relaxed environment. And so it's not tense to where, you won't be able to grasp what's going on and make sure that you get, understand the instruction. Because when you get up there in the sky, everything is done step by step, just like it was done on the ground, except for you have the wind beating you up, and then you have the water down below, and just the fact that you're climbing on top of a plane it's crazy. But you get there and you go through all of the course, and within a few hours we were ready. It was 4 of us. We were ready to go. We're like, let's fly.
Wow.
Yes.
Y'all are crazy.
Yes.
So let me ask you, I'm sure they go over a lot of safety protocol and things like that whenever they reach that point, because I'm pretty sure that's what all day is about. How did it make you feel? Did it make you feel a little anxious when they start covering these things? Like, if this happens, this is what you need to do.
Well, the way that the class is set up, you can ask as many questions as you want, but the way the class is set up to where it's, like I said, it's such a relaxed environment. It's like everything is step by step. If you just follow the steps that are laid out, you'll be fine. The only thing that's going to interfere with that is this up here.
Exactly. I was going to say, you're saying we'll be fine. I'm going to go nuts. Because think about taking off in the gravity. How did that feel?
It takes off just like a regular plane,
Really?
Yes. Takes off just like a regular plane. You get into the sky, and that's when you kind of feel a little bit of anxiety, because like I said, with skydiving, I was tandem, right? So I had an instructor. And so in the plane, you're in the front seat, the pilot is in the back seat. And this is all on you. No one can make you get out of the plane. No one can make you remember the steps. It's like you just have to take a breath and just remember what you practice, step by step. And the only thing that's a little bit of a factor is the wind. The wind is crazy up there. The propeller is going. It's crazy up there. But, once you get up there, you strap yourself in. You're like, okay, let's go. And it's showtime.
Well, an experience like that, roughly, how long does it last?
All day. Oh, you mean like once you get on the plane?
Like in the moment. Yeah.
From takeoff to landing is probably about 25 minutes. So it's not long.
That's long enough to be in sheer terror.
It can seem long. Minutes can seem long. But just the aerobatics, the view, everything. Like it was amazing.
So question, while you're up there and you're strapped to this plane on the outside of it, that's just so random to me. I've just never. Are you allowed to take photos while you're up there, or is that against the safety protocol?
Okay, so the way they have it is 4 GoPro cameras that are strapped onto the plane. It's
Nice.
2 on the front wing of the plane, it's 2 on the back wing of the plane, and 2 take photos and 2 take video footage. So you don't have to worry about any of that. Now, if you want to bring your GoPro and have it strapped to your chest or your wrist or whatever, you can, but they have everything that you need.
I don't know what I was envisioning me just like click, click, you know, like while I'm there. You're too concerned probably with just staying attached to the plane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
Woo!
But just relax and enjoy the views, and you know, it was amazing.
You're making me anxious just listening to this. This is just, I would be like a ball of sweat the entire time.
It was good. You know, it's like I was scared, super scared. But like I said, that shouldn't stop you from doing something, right? And so that can carry over into other aspects of your life. Just because you're scared to do something don't mean you don't do it.
That's right. I love it. Yeah. I love it. So let me get a little more into your journey. So I know you started with free falling, AKA skydiving, a thing that most of us fear. I mean, some of us don't even like flying, let alone jumping out of a plane, you know? So what was your next step on your journey?
Wow. What else did I do? After I went skydiving again.
Right away, right?
I went skydiving again. Actually, you can jump as many times as you want during the day. So
really,
yeah, but I didn't jump the same day. I jumped later on, but that was my next. I went right back to skydiving. Okay. So it was, and I actually wanted to get my license, but it's like, oh, I've been doing so many other things, and maybe that'll happen one day. But yeah. So
awesome. I have a friend, his name is Clayton Ribeiro. Shout out to him. He's from Brazil. He lives here, and he used to skydive at least a couple of times in a year, and I thought he was insane. But listening to you talk about it, it's like, huh, okay, maybe. Like, you guys make it seem like it's so therapeutic. Maybe I should try it at least one time.
Look, let's sign up. I will sign you up now. Let's go.
But listen though, I'm afraid of heights. So it's like, I don't know if I should really push it to the limit that far. Because
why do people say that?
Well, I have 2 issues, right? One is all the wind. I just told you earlier, I can't breathe when it's so much air. And then 2, I have a fear of heights. So it's kind of like, if I were to do that, then I could literally do anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can go tomorrow.
I don't know, Brandy. Slow your roll. You got to take me one step at a time. Let's try a roller coaster first. And then, I don't know. It seemed like after age 10, I just became afraid of heights. I'm serious. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah. You don't think about any of that when you're up there.
Yeah.
Any of that. Like, all that goes out the window.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I'll just have to try just to call you bluff.
It's not like a roller coaster. It's not the same feeling like, you know, once you get up and then you drop. It's not like that. It's not, I don't know. I can't even explain it, but it's not the falling feeling that you get. It's not like that. I know that sounds so crazy. Like
no, it makes sense.
In the air.
It makes sense. You're just saying it's not as intense as, say, for instance, you're on a ride or something.
Yeah.
It's more literally, like you said, a free fall. Like, yeah. And then the parachute probably makes it a lot smoother, I would assume.
Once the parachute is pulled, it's very quiet. It's smooth sailing. I promise you.
You give me a feeling of serene. Like, it's just very just.
It is.
Even though part of me is like, she's lying. I don't want to believe this. I'm going to be screaming like a maniac the entire time.
You sound like my friends that I tried to talk into going with me.
She didn't go?
No, nobody went with me.
Oh, maybe, you know what? I may just do it with you one day. I'm not going to say today, tomorrow, or this month, but maybe next month. Let's just see.
I mean, all you have to do is say the word and I'm there.
Trust me, I know. I can tell. So let me ask you, what's next up on your bucket list? Have you thought about it?
Wow. Okay. So it's funny you should ask that. So actually this morning I took my first scuba diving lesson. Yay. Yeah. So I actually want to do some shark diving and do some other diving. And my birthday's in December, so I'm trying to get it all together.
Are you a Sagittarius?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's interesting. We'll talk after. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah, so that's been on the list for a while. And yeah, so this morning was a really great intro. Feel like a pro, not. But way more confident in, you know, the equipment and my abilities now.
Yeah.
Still have a long way to go, obviously, a long way to go, but it was a great start. And so I'm trying to get it together because I want to do something for my birthday.
You know what? I'm just so happy that I'm interviewing you right now because I know I'm going to see you all over magazines very shortly. Like, just, yeah, you're such an
existence.
Yeah, seriously, you're such an inspiration. And like, you know how many people have bucket lists and they haven't scratched off not one thing yet? Like, they haven't even prepared themselves to attack their bucket list, you know?
A lot of people. And I don't think that you should wait until you retire, you know, wait until a certain point. Like, start your bucket list now. Yeah, I mean, even if it's something that within your city, you know, 4 hours away, the next state over, you know, just pick one thing. And if you have to, if it takes you 3 months to build up the confidence to do that one thing, put it on your list. You have to, you know, write it down, book the flight, book the hotel, book the rental car, schedule it, whatever. Like, you know, when people start putting their money towards stuff, then it's like, you know, okay, this is becoming real. So
yeah, definitely. I agree. You know, it's so funny that you say that because this past weekend I just lost my cousin. She was like a sister to me. And you know, and she hadn't even made 40 years old. She was 39. So I think what you said is so true. So everybody that's watching this show today, definitely don't wait to scratch off those bucket list items. Start making it happen ASAP. Because we don't know, you know, look at 2020. It's been so horrendous and up and down, you know, and so it's just, we have to cherish every moment. And that's why I was so excited to interview you because you're like a star of hope, you know, you're like a breath of fresh air. When I see people out just living their best lives and doing what they've destined themselves to do, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
Yeah. And I get so much feedback from people, from friends, from friends of friends, from complete strangers that, you know, I have no idea who they are. They're like, hey, you know, I seen this on social media. So then I went to your page and I'm just like, wow. And that's what it's all about, you know, inspiring people, showing people that these things are out here. You know, I had someone, not just someone, I actually had a few people tell me, I didn't even know that wing walking was a thing. Like, did you
I didn't either. Really? I didn't either until I saw you. Yeah, like I really had I thought you were crazy. I was like, this is insane. Please don't take offense. I'm just saying, like, no, I've never seen that.
I've heard it all. And people were like, well, did you take off on the plane? Like, were you up there? And I'm like, no. You know, like we got it about 3,500 feet. And I was like, the pilot, you know, everything is done by hand signals because you can't hear anything up there. It's so loud. And he gave me the signal that it was time to go ahead and climb out. And so that's why I actually posted like that clip of the video so that people can see, no, I actually had to climb out and get on top, unstrap myself in. And it was like, what? Girl.
Oh, I'm just like, no. It's just such a scary thought, you know? But I guess until you're doing it, did it feel surreal as you were unstrapping yourself or unbuckling yourself? And
it did. I talked to myself out loud the whole time. I was like, you got this. Now I do this, this pep talk. I've done this before in some of my other adventures, but I talked to myself the whole time and I was like, you got this. You got this. Yeah. It's just one step at a time. So one step at a time. Remember what you were taught, you know, just take it slow. It's not a rush. One step at a time. You got this. You got this. And when I was flying upside down and inside out, and I was just saying, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. It was crazy.
Wow. I love the way you explain things because I'm like envisioning it all right now. That's crazy. Yep. The only difference is like, I guess it is kind of being like on a roller coaster, maybe. Would you compare it to that?
Yeah. You can definitely compare it to that.
were you kind of, so I know you were strapped on the wings, but did you have a place to kind of sit, or you just had to stand straight?
There's
What was the
actually
structure?
there's actually like a pole behind you, and that
Mm-hmm.
pole has it almost looks like a seat belt from an airplane on
Got
there.
it.
So once you climb up there, you put your feet in the little foot straps,
Okay.
and then you have to reach behind you, unsnap that buckle, bring it around to the front, and snap the buckle, and then you take a breath, right? Like, and then you give the pilot a thumbs up, and it's time to go.
Wow. Oh, listen.
Yes.
I know that one's not for me. Okay, that
Yeah.
one's not for me. That's for people that's not faint at heart. I cannot. I mean, with the wind, the speed of the aircraft, all this going on, like
Yeah.
because one false move, that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And that's why you really have to be strategic about your steps.
yeah.
There's always supposed to be 3 points of contact on the plane, either both hands and 1 foot, both feet and 1 hand, always 3 points of contact. And you just remember, like, we practice so much. It was only 4 of us. Sometimes they have a little more people, but we practiced. We got plenty of practice time in to where we were like, okay, we're ready.
Yeah.
But even like when we took off, it was like, oh crap, here we go. But
That's awesome.
yeah, I was just like, you're doing this. Like, you can't. It was right outside of Seattle, about 2 hours outside of Seattle. But it was like, no, you came here for this. You're doing this. Like, failure is not an option.
Right, because you're up there. You're up there now. So, wow. So the question I was going to ask you, are you still in contact with those 4 people that you trained with?
No, actually, I came from Texas. One was local from the Seattle area. One guy was from Virginia, and one guy was from Maryland.
So you were the only female.
I was the only female.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I was the only female there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we actually sat around and we were like, okay, if you're here, obviously this is not your first rodeo. So we sat around and we were throwing stories back and forth, like, oh yeah, well, I did this, why I did that. So that was pretty cool too. So
that's awesome. It's always awesome to find people or meet people that have similar interests or the same interests. Yeah,
of course.
That's pretty cool. So are you a part of some of these groups, like meetup groups that do, I guess they do kind of average things though, right? Like hiking, stuff like that.
Yeah, I am a part of some groups. I'm a part of some groups, but like I said before, like in some of these adventures, I have gone solo because I do have friends and family that are like, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, well, just come and support. They're like, and so by going solo to some of these adventure sports, you meet a lot of different people, and then you connect that way, and like, oh yeah, well, I'm in this group on Facebook, you should join, and oh yeah, well, I'm going to be here. And it's like, okay. So yeah, I've met some really cool people, people that I thought were a little bit crazier than me.
I bet. I can imagine. So you're already working on your next bucket list item, and that's deep diving with sharks, you said, right?
I do want to dive with sharks, yes.
Woo! So how long is that process gonna take for you to complete?
I'm actually not getting certified in for scuba diving, so I'm just making sure that I get my feet wet and basically understand like what I need to do in order to survive the situation.
Right.
So yeah, I think I have maybe about 3 or 4 more sessions.
Okay.
Before my birthday. So yeah, I may.
Awesome. So do they put you like in some type of swimming pool, like tank, or how do they simulate it?
I don't know why I thought, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to go out here. They're like, no, sweetie, we're going to start out in a pool. I'm like, okay. So yeah, this morning was really cool. Just getting familiarized with all of the equipment and just the basics. And it was good. It was good. I did better than expected. So
nice. So it sounds like what you're doing obviously is not, it's definitely dangerous if you don't pay attention. So it seems like you have to be a person that pays attention to detail, memorizes what's necessary to survive, right?
And ask questions. If
And
you don't
ask
know,
questions.
ask questions.
Yeah.
If you forgot, ask questions.
For sure, for sure. That's just, woo, you're going to be, yeah, definitely going to be in some magazines. I can already assure you that. So after you've accomplished diving with the sharks, what do you think you'll go on to next?
Well, so a few years ago, I took some lessons. I'm always taking lessons, always trying to learn something. But I wanted to get my pilot's license a few years ago. Took some flight lessons. Never really pursued it much after that. So that's going to be next. And I'm actually going to have to settle down just a little bit. So I need to make sure that I'm like super focused, and I can't be like all over the world traveling here and there. I mean, maybe I could, but I don't know. But I need to like really be serious about this. So that will take up a lot of my time. And so that's what I want to do. I'm always in some flying contraption, some plane, or I'm skydiving, or I'm hang gliding, or parasailing, or I don't know, something. Always in the sky doing something.
So what is hang gliding? What is that? Just on a parachute and you're jumping off of a mountain or something? Or what is that?
Well, they do it like that. I think in Brazil, you run and you jump off the side of the mountain. Mm-hmm. It looks like a kite, like a big kite.
And that's what I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually did it. There's a place called Cowboy Up hang gliding, which is in Wharton, Texas, not far from Houston. So,
just trying to throw that gem out there. I caught it, but I need to ask, do you wear a parachute when you do the hang gliding?
There's no parachute.
Oh.
There's no parachute.
There's no
parachute.
Okay.
Everything is done by thermals. So you're actually towed up by a tow plane. And once you get she said, And so once you get to, I don't know, a few thousand feet, then the plane detaches and you fly around in the sky. So it's like, I know you remember this. As a kid, you would go out to the park and you would have your kite, and the kite would fly around with your little string. That's basically it, without the string.
Just attached to that kite. Oh, Lord. Woo, Brandy.
So instead of you being on the ground, you're up there with the kite.
And whenever you come down is when you come down. Can you guide it? Can you kind of guide and steer it?
It's guided, by the movement, But you're up there with an instructor too, unless it's something that you want to do on your own. Then of course you would have to take all these classes and everything. But I was actually up there with an instructor. So
nice. Okay, so that's a soft little. That's a good addition to know. Like to know you have somebody experienced that's on your back, literally, that can help you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So do you have any advice for people who are thrill seekers, people who are creating their bucket list right now? What would you tell them to do? What's your bold of advice based on your experience? You have a lot of it. What would you tell them to do?
Do it.
And in addition to
that, let's see. Do your research. Ask questions. It's so many people on social media that are very friendly, always willing to answer questions. If you go on my page and you're like, hey, you want more information, I have no problem with, telling you what my experience was, giving you contact information. And that's one of the reasons why I actually started my blog, because one of my friends was like, hey, like you put these pictures out, on social media, but you should start a blog, give people more information, more pictures, put videos out there so it can be interactive. People can actually see and not just, look at pictures. But yeah, I would say do your research. I would say start with what is comfortable for you at this moment and build from there. It's almost like once you crack that egg, I mean, it's go time. It opens up a whole new world. And so there's just like so many things out there for us to experience. It's like, don't feel like you can't do something because your friends don't want to do it, because your family doesn't want you to do it. People are pushing their fears off on you. It's like, just get out there and do it. But I really suggest do your research. Look at more than, if you're going to go with a company, look at more than one company, look at their reviews, call them up, talk to them, but yeah, Like, research is everything. Do your
Yeah,
research first, and
for
then
sure.
go from there.
And so what advice would you tell people who are like, "Ah, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm kind of thinking about it. They're kind of straddling the fence. What would you say to those people?
I would say, let's see. I would tell them, if it's something that you want to do, I think you should just do it. I know that sounds like so repetitive. It sounds so crazy, but it's, if you don't just do it, you'll never do it. You know, if you're straddling the fence and you're just not sure, um, dig deep down inside and figure out what's going to take for you, you know, to get to that point. You know, what are your fears, you know, and talk through it with someone else. You just never know. You know?
Yeah, no, I love that advice. I really do. So then, what are your goals with Bucket List Brandy? Where do you see yourself in the next year or so?
Oh, wow. On a magazine, duh.
Right? It's already checked off. That's coming.
Yeah. So I just want to experience everything, everything, everything. I don't want to be limited. I don't want to feel like, you know, I can't do something because I'm a female, or I can't do something because, you know, I'm short, or I can't, whatever, you know, and just, you know, it's, the more extreme, the better at this point. I know that sounds so crazy, like, why? But it's like, you know, once you're always searching for something else that's going to take the place of, you know, the last high. You know, you want to just keep elevating. So yeah, I don't know what the next extreme thing is going to be though, but I mean, the
So
short
that's
dive is
good.
extreme, but yeah.
It sounds like you just play it by ear. You just, wherever your heart or your soul leads you, that's where you end up.
I
That's
do.
cool.
Yeah. My bucket list is constantly changing. I'm constantly adding to. I scour the internet. I'm always on social media. I'm always looking for something else, you know.
Mhm.
So and actually they have all these reality shows, all this stuff on that Geo, all this stuff on Discovery Channel, and you're just like, yo, I want to do that. And it's like, okay, you know, let's do some research, find out where it is, and let's go do it. Put it on the list, even if it's
Yeah.
not for the next month. Put it on the
Mhm.
list, and when the opportunity presents itself, make it happen.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's just like life. We're forever changing. So
Yeah,
that bucket list can forever change. That's
it
crazy
will.
and awesome
It
all at the
will.
same time. Like, hopefully you're going to inspire somebody that's going to watch this show, because there's so many fears inside of us, and I feel like doing this kind of thing that you're doing, Brandy, will definitely help some people to address some of their fears that they thought they would never be able to get rid of. So I really love what you're doing. That's
It's
awesome.
healthy fears. It's normal to have a fear, you know,
Yeah,
but that shouldn't stop you. It shouldn't
I
stop
agree.
you.
I agree, but it's gonna stop me from strapping myself to a plane. But anyway, I'll let you do that. Look, there's all people for all sorts of things, and you're made for that. I am not for sure. But make sure you let everybody know where they can find your information. If you have a
So
website, Instagram, shout it out.
yeah, so I'm Bucket List Brandy everything. Try to make it real simple. My YouTube is Bucket List Brandy. Instagram is at Bucket List Brandy. My blog is bucketlistbrandy.com. So very simple. You don't have to try to figure out, you know, what's this, that, whatever. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's all the same
awesome,
across the board.
awesome. I love it. I love simplicity, and it's easy to remember too, because like bucket list, everybody knows what a bucket list is. Bucket
Yeah.
list, Brandy.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to the end of our show, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed every second of this interview. Brandy is awesome. It was a pleasure to have you on this show today. I want to thank you for being a special guest. I've learned so much about you. You kind of inspired me to at least think about doing the hang gliding, but we'll see. I'll think about it. The free falling is a no for me.
It's a no now. It's a no now.
It's a
But
no
once you
now
get
for
ahead
me.
gliding, it might be a yes. So
We'll see. We'll see. But definitely look forward to some more of your new adventures. I'll be subscribing to your YouTube channel, and I'm definitely already following your Bucket List Brandy on IG. So you guys make sure you follow her. Make sure you subscribe to her YouTube channel. Check her out on all the platforms, Bucket List Brandy. And we want to thank you guys for tuning into the Sisters Talk podcast. You guys have a great evening. You have any last words you'd like to say?
hey, don't wait. Start now.
Love it. Love it. Thank you guys for tuning into the Sisters Talk podcast. You guys have a great day.